love wizards with comical amounts of HP.
Oh yeah, well that's the intro to the recording. Hey guys, Tales of Turam here. We're doing a small roleplay session between Rawl here and Chiron. Rawl is going to be playing as Agrippa, the Blackbird from one of the previous campaigns, and Chiron's going to be playing his new character Thielen from the campaign that will be coming up after Gnome Homes finishes up. And he wanted to get some roleplay out about his character, what his intentions became after a certain encounter with an undead creature. So I was like, hey, Rawl has an interesting undead creature. Maybe I should bring him into this as Agrippa.
Whoa.
So if there's anything you two would like to say before we start, feel free.
Hi.
I'm new to roleplay, so forgive me if I'm shit. Yeah.
We're not even a minute in and you already said the first curse word, okay.
Yeah.
Haha.
Beware of that, I swear, like a sailor.
Okay. Anyways, 3, 2, 1. There you go. So let me set the scene here. So, hold on. Agrippa was after the attacks. Okay. So, wait, hold up. With Agrippa, we had moved to Riverton. What happened with Agrippa after Riverton? Tell me that again. What happened with him, Ro? Because the party fell apart. I forget where he went to.
Yeah, I don't even honestly.
I think he just left. He just said, nah, this mess is horrible. This group, I can't deal with them, right?
Yeah, something like that, I'm pretty sure.
Alright, so, the morning after the destruction of the hidden chapel of Slichet within the city of Riverton, Agrippa comes to grips with the destruction of his group, brought upon by the differing of morality between its group mates. The destruction of the chapel he had witnessed not but a few hours ago. Sets out on a journey to do what, Rawl? For a few months. Remember, he's just come to terms with this holy person who I had kind of formed a somewhat bond with because of our connections through being clerics of deities, of not so liked vestiges, just betrayed what you thought their entire morality would be, and went against what your entire theological morality would have been.
Quite frankly, there is only one thing that can be done. There is but one path down which I am to walk. And though I have stumbled, I must press on. I will be spending this time primarily preparing for the future confrontations with the variety of insects which plague the corpse of these lands.
Alright.
I.e. spell scrolls.
As you begin to journey for a few months, finding whatever spell scrolls and pieces of parchment and knowledge that could be departed upon you, within the first month of your journey, you come upon... Chiron, would your character describe themselves as a warrior of justice? Before they met up or whatnot?
Is this after my crisis of faith or before it?
I would say you're having your doubts, but you have found yourself to Darath. We will say that you have been sent a missive from the church itself, a high member of the church, an archbishop, to investigate a town that has apparently been plagued by undead. And you will be going there. Is your character a hero of justice or not?
Yes, at this point he would be, but that is waning. Okay. Because his sense of justice is changing.
Alright. So, Agrippa, as the morning lights is but a few hours off in your first month of travel, the desert blows and its winds pass sand through your many garbs, bouncing off your golden helm. Tarnished not a lot, but a little, as you continue to mend it back to its pristine condition. Your journey thus far has proven not fruitless, but a little less fruitful than you had desired. The sands are changing. Men and women are rising up in rebellion against the cold king, Surrectus Vaughn. He is losing grip on his hold of an empire that has lasted near 150 years. After it has come to light that the previous king was killed by Surrectus himself, and though it was thought bandits attacked the previous queen on an escort mission to Jaggerbret, it appears that he had orchestrated it himself. These coming to life have given the newest rebellion, the Jaggerbretian Alliance, heavy sway as it attempts to swathe through Durath, gaining support from many city-states, as Riverton has decided to join their allegiance. A heavy blow to the Empire. Though it has yet to be fully declared, the forces of the Empire are beginning to march upon Riverton from the time you had left it. You are sure a coming battle will soon sully these lands in blood. As you continue to walk, the Hydra Alliance has lost a lot of its sway after its loss at the Rexumi siege. The red-skinned goblin has found its way into these lands, though, through breaks and cracks through the wall, the defense line against the wastes. And its armies begin to muster on the western side of Rexumi. Rexumi, though it held strong, it's only a matter of time before it crumbles, and all of the monsters and bandits of the waste find their way into the Empire. You know this is going to be troubling times in the future, especially with the Empire itself falling apart. You hear, through rumors, apparently the man named Ryan Pharaoh, champion of the King and Iron, and Ember, the Lord of the Golden Ravine, and Ember within the Hearth, is aiding Prince Advar Silverton of Dust Valley in his campaign against the newly founded king, Craig Silverton, after the death of their father. What was the fucking name? This man made like 5 fucking NPCs and expected me to remember all of them. Give me a second. After the death of their father, Varvac Silverton, within Renil, after an assassination attempt proven fruitful by what is assumed to be the Empire's forces. However, rumors have speculated that Craig was part of the assassination, part of planning it, to take control of Dust Valley, as Dust Valley has declared war against the Empire, having once remained vigilant as friends of the Empire, and actually the area that trains 80% of their, well, not 80%, 20% of their forces, the more powerful forces of the Empire. Those that did not join against the Empire were imprisoned and executed, as martial law has been declared. Both Ryan Pharaoh, a man named Bob Sauce, who's been making waves as well, and Advar Silverton, as well as a familiar name to you, the Cleric, for which the crisis of faith and morality has brought you to this traveling, the one you had broken up with about a month ago, has joined in the Slashay Tundra, otherwise known as Dust Valley, sorry. It seems war is inevitable, and through these trying times, you have felt and smelt the feeling and sense of undeath beginning to bring its cold clutches to this desert-heated continent, this ancient continent. You felt the presence of a strong undead, and his last known location, the last ping you have had, has led you to a town not too far from... Where are you? Give me a second. Not too far from the Marilian ruins, just south of Martell, a few days' travel. Back on your path from where you were in the capital city. You found yourself in the region of Canyon, nearing the region of Canyon, the steps that lead to it. And you see before you, as you descend from the northern side, in Canyon, just the precipice of it, pushed against this foothill, a small city built upon an ancient city, basically. In the distance, you can see large ruins, but here, you see the city itself builds into the large canyon side, as well as it's strewn across the desert sands. And here you see smoke pyres rising. A destroyed city, walls having felled. You smell the stench of blood and undeath. And you can see shambling corpses as the moon. At this point, it would be the blue. No, yeah, it would be the blue moons. Nope, because blue moon would have ended at this point, because that was the capital attack. A month passed, another month passed. So the white moon remains high in the sky. You feel it, the waves of creation beginning to pull themselves together like a thread. The newest complete celestial solstice is about to happen at the end of the coming year. As you find yourself standing upon this precipice and looking down towards this destroyed town, a few lights remain within the town as you hear the screams of those who have not surrendered just yet to the onslaught that has occurred in this village. It is at this point you hear the sound of slashing iron and the sound of grunts, the sounds of combat, as you stare down from this precipice a few minutes journey away, and you watch as this gallant knight, in not shining armor, but darkened armor, glistening from the moonlight itself, raises a shield to protect the innocent and pulling out his sword to slash down a few of the undead that shamble across the town. Agrippa, do you move upon the town, or do you leave it to its own devices?
He moves in stride. There are likely people here who will need more than just a sword. Rah.
As you begin to make your stride towards the town, with which you know no name, explosions begin to happen at certain intervals, and after a few minutes, you make your way to the back entrance of this town. Affixed to the back entrance, just before the staircase that leads into the rocked canyon, you see the wall of stone is broken, and the once held sign is split in half, burnt to sunders. The first letters, AU. No other letters you can discern. As you see the gates have been broken and splintered open, you can see the shambling corpses starting to bash against a large house. Hundreds of them.
Well, just a quick second here. No way. There it is.
Agrippa, as you stand beneath the white moon of Celis, which you know so well from your heritage. It's the only religion, really, that's allowed within Tirok, or Tyrellian itself, the Celis religion. You feel a strange connection to the moon itself, and you feel a bit bolstered in your own morality and heroics. You feel a bit bolstered in your mind. What are you going to do?
Well, I think the only logical thing is to kill them.
Okay.
I mean, it's a little boring, but... Sorry, I'm stalling as I look up a spell description.
As you begin to get ready to cast whatever spell you are, you're starting to weave it as the moonlight seems to almost... Actually, I'll let you describe what the description of the spell looks like whenever you find it.
Alright. There we go. He raises his censer. The smoke, almost pillowing from it, begins to roar up. The burning incense within begins to exude embers within the vapors. He begins to draw upon them that dim, faint light. And in his hand, it begins to grow. With his palm outstretched, he waves the whole of his arm forward, as in the center of this undead mob, as he begins to stride toward it with complete confidence, a great beam of light crashes down from the sky. This is the light of the sun conjured through the entirety of the earth from the other side.
Alright.
As it begins to pierce the ground and claim them, the undead, he walks confidently through, untouched by the burning radiance.
Alright. As you walk through untouched, our vision shifts. Quite a few of the undead are killed by that, by the way. Theolin, you fought through the night to save as many men and women as you can as the bags reach underneath your eyes and the hordes of undead begin to push you and the survivors back to a large adobe house. You begin to pull yourself in, stabbing a few of the undead, taking a few scrapes. You push into the door and barricade it fast as you see the screaming individuals that are still alive, some of them having had their arms ripped off or injuries strewn across their body. They all seem to be in a state of shock or fright. They all look upon you as if waiting for whatever knowledge or heroics or whatever speech, whatever you are about to say to them, as you hear the pounding of undead against the walls of the house, the doors of the house. You start to hear them breaking small pieces of stone off the edges of the adobe outside. What are you doing as you see the faces, the hopeful faces of these individuals before you?
I'm looking for a cellar, like a door, like a trap door, or something that leads to a basement.
Alright, you push back, mentioning that you're looking for a cellar. The individual goes, an individual from the crowd, "There's no cellar here. This is the town hall. No cellars here. There would be one in the inn across the street, but can't get there anymore. What are we gonna do?"
Um, hmm. Let me see what protection of good and evil does. Oh no, that's only one creature. Fuck. Is there an upstairs to the town hall?
There is. It's a 3-story building. It's a large square tower.
Awesome. I'm going to then, as much as I can, cast Cure Wounds on those I'm able to, and also lay on hands and usher them to the third floor
Alright.
as I brandish myself for when the undead horde, or however many undead are going to break through that door.
Alright, as you begin to usher them upstairs and begin to pull your weapon out and hold it forward as you stand at the door, tired, exhausted, injured, you hold your weapon and you feel a plated hand reach your shoulder, on your right shoulder. And you see standing before you a man clad in steel, iron. Give me a second, I need to pull up his description here. Pinned messages. Where is it? Give me a second to go down to him. Well, I actually have a character made for this, by the way, so give me 1 second here. Shit, where is it? Before these three. Yeah, there it is. Hold up, did I make the wrong one? I might have made the wrong one, to be honest with you, but let's see. No, I did make the right one. Okay, so you feel a heavy plated hand upon your shoulder as you see this man dressed in this iron or steel blackened armor, plate mail. The shoulders, the pauldrons, come out and bend outwards, almost like mushroom tips. The helmets, not like a knight's helmet. It seems to be a large spiked helmet with almost a V where the face should be, and a cloth mask there blocking any details, with these two large triangles on the side that come backwards. He wears full plates, and he seems to pull a large greatsword from his back as he looks towards you. "Child, if you truly wish to give yourself for these people, I shall stand by you." As he pulls out his greatsword, he puts it forward, and this red flame coats onto the blade as he looks to you, and he goes, "Ashes to ashes, young one. as he holds firm in a position right next to you. You both hear this sound from outside as the door shakes and the barricade on it breaks. The doors begin to creak open a bit. As the doors push forward, all you see is daylight breaking in the distance after it seems to almost disappear from a pillar of light, and stepping from it, a shadowed figure. Domino, if you'd like to continue the description, please.
All right, well. Standing there is a tall, slim fellow, dressed in humble blue-green robes so faded with time that, quite frankly, they're almost gray. Lacing his robing are a wide variety of patterns, scribed in gold inlay. Resting upon his shoulders are a cascade of golden medallions, each inscribed with the distant hazy image of a bird. Upon his head is a great triangular shape, with a vague space representative of face carved out. Fascinatingly, there are no gaps so that he might take advantage of his senses. Every bit of the flesh of his head is completely concealed by this mask. He holds a censer, which he swings slowly and methodically back and forth. The smoke that pillows out from it, smelling of sweet lavender. He seems to be approaching, if somewhat slowly.
Chiron, I've added you at where his picture is if you wanted to see it yourself.
Yeah, I also got added in the call chat, if that's a thing.
Yep, that was
there's
me.
a call chat?
Yeah,
Yep.
if you can click convo.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, continue. Sorry, my bad. Continue the scene if you want to, Raw.
Well, I suppose that's sort of most of it. He's just walking at you.
As this man walks in valiantly, or how would you describe how he's walking in?
There is purpose.
Purpose.
He does not walk to fucking impress people or assert some manner of stature. He was walking somewhere simply because he needs to be there.
As this man walks in with purpose, you look past him and see the undead on the ground that still are squirming begin to turn to ash, as a few of them are seemingly backing up. As the daylight sun comes in, you see their bodies begin to fizzle away, and you watch as the individual next to you looks towards this tall individual, and with a nod, ashes to ashes.
Dust to dust.
I have heard tale of you, Agrippa the Blackbird.
The ever humble servant of the crowned raven.
I do not presume you know of my own name, my own titles.
I keep little track of such things.
I am a previous servant to the man known as the King in Iron. I am the resulting catastrophe, otherwise known as Jacob and Pharaoh. It is a pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
Would you shake my trembling hand?
This one time, yes. And he reaches his armored hand out to shake your own.
I'm gonna cast protection from evil and good.
On yourself?
No, on what I perceive. I think I know what this guy is, but my character perceives this guy as a brave warrior who stood beside me, so he's gonna cast protection from evil and good.
On
Because
Jacob and Pharaoh, correct?
Yeah, on him.
Alright, you cast it and Jacob and Pharaoh looks at you. I thank you, but I do not think it will be necessary. The spell is cast.
Wow.
He shakes your hand. Do you shake his hand, Roll?
He does indeed return it, revealing the pale green of his flesh. His limbs are thin, almost comically so. There is no muscle beneath that. It's all wrinkled and dried and shriveled up.
Thielen is gonna brandish his blade, but not attack. Yeah.
Jacobin steps to the side to let whatever's about to happen happen. Agrippa, this man, though holding his blade carefully, does not seem... He seems ready to attack you should something happen, but he doesn't seem to be aggressively stanced towards you.
Agrippa slightly inclines himself, looming over this man. Your name?
Why are you here?
Would you prefer I be elsewhere?
What is your purpose for coming here?
What is yours?
To defend the weak and uphold justice.
Justice. Such arbitrary concepts. Ironically, I hold myself to a similar tenet. The people here are being attacked. And quite frankly, I feel inclined to aid them.
I'm gonna cast Zone of Truth.
Okay, you cast Zone of Truth. I'd like a charisma saving throw from Agrippa, please.
Agrippa will willingly fail. He has dealt with the spell before.
Yeah, you have, so. You feel as if Agrippa is being compelled to tell the truth. However, he does not need to say anything if he does not want to, is the problem. That's why the spell isn't as good as it should be.
Alright, then I'm gonna...
Nice.
I could always cast Command, but...
Okay, he's offering to just restate the statement under Zone of Truth.
Yeah, just... Yes.
I had noticed the people of this place were being attacked, and I felt compelled to aid them. Nothing more, nothing less. I seek no reward, I seek no penance. I do only my duty.
Thielen is gonna falter because he expected a more selfish or not thought-provoking answer, because he believes you are undead. I assume you are.
Well, you can confirm that with Divine Sense, if you please.
That's true, I'll cast Divine Sense.
You detect, so it detects Celestial, Fae, Undead, and Fiends?
Yeah.
You detect a heavy undead presence from this man who stands before you, but you also detect celestial and fiendish energy from the man who just stood beside you with his sword, the Jacob and Pharaoh individual.
I would suppose there's maybe also a bit of Fae in Agrippa, but that's mostly due to his race.
Yeah, true, but it's not as much as the fucking undead presence. So you get all four senses. Good job.
Woo!
Critical success.
That's just Divine Sense, yeah.
Why do you stare at me, child? Your qualms are with this man.
So I detected Fiend from him?
And Celestial.
What are you?
I am a human. And what I am does not matter more than that. Return to your useless squabbles with this hero. I will tend to the wounded upstairs. And he begins to walk upstairs.
And Zone of Truth is still casted, so he's telling the truth.
Let me go ahead and roll that, actually. Because he's not going to willingly fail. What's your DC?
Let me check. 14.
14. Charisma save would be... He is not bound by your Zone of Truth.
Ooh,
Would I know he's not? Would I know he's
you
not?
would know that he succeeded the save. So it would mean you are
Thielen is
unsure
gonna.
if he's lying or telling the truth.
Thielen is going to.
So here's the question: are you more concerned with this man who just was about to stand beside you against the undead, or are you more concerned about this undead creature in front of you?
No, Thielen is conflicted on what to do
The
because
Rock feels conflicted.
despite the man helping me, he's a fiend, and there's a lot of connotations that Thielen will assume with that.
Well, you feel fiendish energy from him. It was not. Well, there is technically summonings, but never mind. Continue. But when you said you felt conflicted, the first thought that popped in my mind: the rock is conflicted. Sorry, the boulder is conflicted. The boulder is
On
no
fighting a
longer.
blind little girl.
The boulder is no longer conflicted. Anyways,
Really, Twinkle Toes?
continue.
Thielen will let the armored man pass, but will continue to stand in front of this triangle-headed undead man.
I do so believe I had asked you a question, and you
I
would
believe I had
not-
asked you 2 questions, and you would refuse to answer one of them.
I do not recall. Remind me.
What are you?
I am the black bird of the crowned raven.
As he says this, Chiron, what's your religion bonus?
Uh, +2.
The Crown Raven is an older religion. It's the matron of ravens, or it's basically the woman who would ferry the dead to the realm they belonged to in the dead. It's an older religion that's not really followed by many anymore, but it is still a heavy religion in the Feywild as well. You're not unsure about its tenets or anything like that because you're not a member of the religion.
Thielen will lower his sword but keep it out and lead you to the injured townsfolk that you said you were coming to help.
Alright.
So, as you guys begin to head upstairs, you hear thankfulness and the sounds of glee from the townsfolk themselves. And you hear Jacobin, do not thank only me. Thank Thielen, the man who saved some of you, as well as another who has come to our aid. I ask that you keep your minds open for this one individual alone. Not all like him, but just this individual, as he has saved you from certain death. I'm gonna roll a. You hear confusion. Do you push into the entranceway?
I will.
Alright. So as you both push in, a few of the town's members, they cheer. Thielen steps in, and then as this looming figure steps in, and his hands are almost mummified, there's this air of darkness around you. If you want to roll, Agrippa, you can make me a deception or performance check to hide your undead nature.
He will do nothing of the sort.
You see, as the individuals see you, a lot of them immediately, instinctively tuck the children and smaller individuals that they can behind them, and some of them stand up and grab whatever's right next to them, as you hear in a language that neither of you speak, but both of you know is a language. It is specifically Durat. It's an ancient language of the Durathian humans. They seem to be speaking this, and Jacob and Pharaoh speaks back to it. It's more of a Ufan. It almost sounds like ceremonial singing when it comes together. Like tribal, like that kind of shit.
Amai.
Alright, let's just stop with that. Jacobin looks towards you, Thielen. Thielen, as I have come to know your name. The townspeople would like to offer you a reward. for your services and your heroics. However, it seems that your friend here, your new acquaintance, is not wanted nor thanked for his endeavors. They fear him and what he may do in their town, as is their right. So, Thielen, what is your response?
I need no monetary reward for the deeds I have done or the actions I have taken. However,
Okay, Ral, basically, Jacobin spoke to them and they said that they want to reward Thielen, but they want you to leave. Anyways, Thielen, continue what you're saying.
I need no monetary reward for the actions I have taken tonight. And I share your concerns with the man beside me, but my divinations have revealed his intentions to be unharmful and helpful, he says with through gritted teeth. I cannot persuade how you feel about this person. However, I ask you give him the benefit of the doubt.
Roll me a persuasion check, please.
Yeah.
It would have been with advantage, but you are talking about Agrippa here, who is now considered to be known as an undead when this town just was attacked by undead.
17.
17. A few of the people look towards a larger individual with a nice beard. He has tan skin, and he looks over. He speaks directly to you, Agrippa. What do you want?
I, much like my fellow here, ask you all nothing. Only that you do not hinder me, which you have already succeeded. Well, no, hold on, that's worded poorly. Which, a pleasure which you have already granted. If you might, I could alleviate some of your wounded, perhaps more efficiently than the other two here. However, such a thing coming from one of myself is understandably unadvisable, at least under normal parameters. If you would prefer, I will leave this instant, but not before placing a ward in front of your door. Prevent the further entry of undead.
You should probably do that. However, you've aided us, so we will not leave you empty-handed. You carry a tome with you, do you not?
I do.
And he nods over to this old woman. Go fetch it. And she runs off. We'll provide you with what we can before you leave. As thanks, and a promise never to return here. Is that understood?
If you like, I can have it written.
No need. Should you return, we will kill you then.
So be it.
At this point, the woman comes back and he grabs this old, dusty book. It's like almost a binder, basically, because it only has a few pages in it, and he scrolls through it, and he rips out a page and hands it to you. We don't got much. We don't have any wizards here, but... And he hands Jacobin the paper, and Jacobin hands it to Thielen.
What is this?
It's a spell page. It's meant to be given to big guy over there.
He
And
politely extends 2 fingers as though to grip it between them.
Thielen will
Call that
hand
Agrippa.
him. Thielen will hand the paper much like one would hold a dirty napkin.
He will take it,
Okay.
briefly inspect it, and place it in the folds of his robing.
Alright. as you take it, it is. It seems to be more natural magic than arcane or holy, which you're used to. But it might be a fun treat.
Well,
All right.
anything is serviceable.
Well then, Theolin, thank you for helping us. But if you do truly bed with this one, we're asking you to leave as well. You've stuck
I
up
will.
for him, so I don't think a lot of people here are gonna fully trust you after that. To be honest with you.
That is fine, but let me tend to the wounded before I go and report back
Jake,
to the church.
Jacobin looks at you and touches you on the shoulder. I can do just that. I am a cleric myself. Do not worry, they will be healed. They will rebuild. Go on your way,
Thank you,
Theolin.
cleric.
Of course.
Thank you, cleric. And yeah,
And
I'll,
Theolin,
I'll
remember, ashes to ashes.
Is there like a saying for the?
Dust to dust.
You don't know what
No,
it
no.
is. Agrippa
Oh, Glenn.
Agrippa responded with dust to dust earlier.
Uh, dust to dust. Yeah.
He nods to you and kind of gently pushes you away.
Theolin, your name.
Yes.
He's going to reach once more into the folds of his robe and slip out yet another piece of paper. This one folded delicately like a letter. I understand your hesitance toward me. However, you seem a logical fellow. If e'er my aid is needed, I offer it but once. Record your message here, and I will hear it,
Why?
because it is my duty.
What duty would an undead creature like yourself have?
I was not lured or brought into my present state. I brought it upon myself. It is a mantle taken after an age of silence from my fellows. A church nestled in the delicate leaves of a different world. We watched as yours began to rot. The politics boiled over, wars burned across the countryside. Threats, not even yet obvious, have arisen. 7 stones, the westerly lich, the vampiress.
Madness.
This place is afflicted, wounded, and I cannot treat it in my one lifetime. Against the better judgment of my lady, I have given myself as many as I need. And when the mission is done, I shall take that which harbors my soul and break it upon my own knee.
In a shocked silence, Theolin has never considered an undead capable of protecting those who are alive and having their own sense of agency. His teachings of the church has painted undead creatures and beings as mindless, abhorrent creatures of sin and evil. And to hear your character, uh, your character's goal and dedication to stopping whatever corruption you've described has shaken his already challenged faith to a struggling neutral crisis. He does not know if his church's teachings now are absolute, and questions whether or not he has perhaps hastily and unjustifiably condemned an undead being without getting to know them properly. And in his stunned silence, all he will do is swiftly take the folded letter you have presented and leave the town as fast as he can.
As Theolin begins to leave the town, post haste, Agrippa, leaving you in the dust, you see a strange blackbird lands. Actually, no, not blackbird, sorry. A strange eagle begins to fly above him and follow him as he continues down. And Agrippa, as he walks away, you finally recognize the holy symbol he was wearing. The golden serpent, Shugaroth, who's known as Bane of the Undead. However, Agrippa, you do recall that many speak behind the Pope's back of this religion, as his views are a bit different than others. As he walks away, go ahead and state whatever scene you want here. What's going through Agrippa's mind, how he reacts, anything.
He will simply watch. He will not take a step, simply tracing your path from the window. The moonlight might even glint
Well, it's
upon
starting
his shining.
to it's starting to get to day. At this point, it's like
Oh.
the sun's rising on the edge of. Continue. Sorry.
Well then. As you find yourself nearing the edge of town, a glint of light strikes your eye, as you might take a second to investigate. The first crack of dawn, glinting off of the shining helm of the blackbird Agrippa. He begins to trace his finger along the center fold of his mask. What this precisely means cannot be divined, but there is an air of respect. Slowly, he draws a piece of chalk from his belt and assuredly moves towards the door of this building. As he does, he begins to trace the outline of a magic circle, one designed to ward the further presence of undead. Just before he finishes the final rune, the last to break the camel's back, he hesitates, pondering the indifference of the people here. He was rewarded for his efforts, but even still cast aside. But he knows better.
You feel a almost warm hand guiding your wrist, holding the chalk towards the door, as if prompting you to finish, as this thought passes through your mind. Continue.
Empowered by that sense of warmth and guidance, the last mark is placed. As he steps back, almost shunted by the newly arisen runes, he returns the chalk to its place. Gazing out towards the sun, he gives himself just another moment of silence before returning to his demi-plane.
Just before you return to your demi-plane, as you pull your sensor out and create the incantation, as the smoke begins to form a door and becomes an archway around you, you're beginning to step in. A blackbird lands upon your shoulder, and as you reach up to touch it, it drops a twig into your hand. As you stare down at this twig, Agrippa, there's only one place this twig can come from. Frost-coated, black, evergreen. This blackbird blackbirds don't migrate completely across the world. The only places you know where this could come from would be south of here, the wastes, but that's almost a barren land. Fafnir, which you know your lady is very hesitant to send any of her minions to. But there's one place that does make sense. Dust Valley, the tundra. As if guiding you yourself on your next mission, your lady has seemingly spoken to you. The blackbird sitting upon your shoulder and this twig in your hand continue the scene.
As he finishes his stride through the portal, he murmurs to himself, "Subtle words, sweet lady."
As the portal and archway disappears, as Agrippa steps through, stepping out of the three-story building, the armored figure, Jacob and Pharaoh, stares up into the sky as we see a winged creature land outside of town, and a woman dressed in white garb walks in. Jacobin is still staring into the sky, and she looks to him. "What is on your mind, dear Jacobin?" "My oath, which I have broken. I sense he will come for me soon. The unstoppable force. It beckons me. Who will be the true champion? Who will receive his power? You are strong enough. Yes, but when the end comes, ashes to ashes, dust to dust." And with that, he turns and walks back into the building, followed by this woman. And that is where we're going to end the session.
Woo!